Hey everyone, it's Horror Free For All, and I hope you're doing well today. So I have here a reaction of sorts over some news that came out a few days ago about a TV show that has been, or I guess, used to air on the Shudder streaming network, and will no longer be continuing after a 2-year hiatus after season 4 aired in 2023. And that is none other than Creepshow. So Creepshow is now officially canceled from Shudder. There will be no season 5, even though us fans have been waiting 2 long years with zero word from Shudder or anybody affiliated with the network to give any sort of update on what's going on with season 5. The only ways we've gotten updates has been through Greg Nicotero, the head showrunner of the show, kind of dropping hints in conversations on podcasts with fellow anthology YouTubers and podcasters, kind of providing some context of the matter. And because I've immersed myself in the Creepshow fandom enough over the past few years of my life, I was already well aware of this information, and I kind of knew that it was going to happen, most likely either this year or next year, just for the sheer fact that there has been no word about it at all. So here we are, and now we have official word, and honestly, I'm kind of relieved and I'm optimistic for the future, but I'm also really pissed off, and I feel like I need to rant and just talk about some things because personally, what I think Shudder is doing to Creepshow is a bitch made move. And I get there's some logistics behind a television show versus making movies. And a lot of people seem to think that because Shudder has been making some waves, especially in the past like 4 years, I want to say, with the movies they're producing, with films like Oddity, for example, becoming like a big mainstream success. I think that Shudder is moving away from television, which I can get to a degree. But throwing away your number one show that got you a ton of subs and resubs every year for like 4 years and treating it like it didn't matter because it was a show and that you can just walk all over Greg Nicotero and all these people that basically helped birth the popularity of Shudder with Creepshow by shrinking their budget season by season and telling them to basically kick rocks and fuck you, and they can't pick stories from prolific authors like they want to because they don't have the money to pay them for it, or they have to slash budgets in the editing or slash budgets in the creature effects season by season, and you see the quality start to diminish slowly but surely. Y'all never wanted this show to succeed, in my opinion. And I think that this is where I'm about to lean into Shudder a little bit. And here's the thing. After this announcement, they went ahead and said, hey, look, fans of the Creepshow television series, we're going to put out a box set, a Blu-ray box set. It's going to be $100. It's going to have a cool special collector's edition look to it. You're going to have all the seasons in there. You're going to have some bonus features. You're going to have an insert, I guess, with like comic versions of the stories, or I guess maybe some stories in there, which I guess is a new buy-in gimmick for it. And I guess new background art for the display. But I looked at the features, I looked at what they were offering the fans, and I just think that it's fucking bullshit even then. Because they've been sitting on this IP for 2 years. Mind you, Shudder, a few years ago, they got in bed with Image and Skybound Comics, which runs circles with AMC and Shudder. And they've been having an ongoing comic series for a few years now. They're about to release Volume 4 this year, thankfully, and into early next year. I want to be shocked if after this volume is released, they announce that the comics are done too. But we'll see where that goes. There was a spin-off novel series that only lasted 2 books, written by Ellie Cooper. I guess they didn't sell well at all because nobody heard of them and nobody's talked about them on like social media. So those got quietly discarded. But then, worst of all, there's this video game that people have been hyped about, made by Dread XP, that was supposed to come out in 2023 or 2024, I forget. But it was supposed to be out already by now. But it's been in limbo, and I'm assuming, if I had to be a betting man, that it has a lot to do with Shudder not knowing what they're doing with Creepshow. And here's the thing. If you don't know the context about Greg Nicotero and what he thinks about all of this, he's mentioned on podcasts like Dads from the Crypt, for example, where he would love to keep the show going. But after season 4, actually during season 4, he knew that the show can't go on at this level because of the shrinking budgets, because of, in his opinion, the lack of faith Shudder had on Creepshow. And he decided to make an audible play and told them essentially that I'm not renegotiating our contract until you guys bring our budgets back up to something sustainable and you treat this IP with the respect it deserves. And Shudder didn't do that, apparently. Because I'm guessing that's why it's taken 2 years to come out with this announcement. And I can assure you that Nicotero probably made the right move. Because even if we did get a season 5, it probably would be even more low budget as season 4. Which is a good and a bad thing. Because, you don't want a series that has garnered a lot of modern fans, especially to the franchise. I've been a lifelong Creepshow fan, and I grew up watching the 1982 film and the sequel from 1987. And I even watched that god-awful third film when it came out, back in the mid-2000s. And it's a slap in the face to everyone. and what's the shittiest thing is, right, going back to the Blu-ray box set, they couldn't even think about the fans for one iota here. They couldn't just be like, you know what? I know Greg Nicotero has openly said many times now about it that there is this canceled Marilyn Manson episode segment that was supposed to be in season 2, but it got canceled in post-production because of some allegations that supposedly have been disproven and were proven not to be true. So Nicotero has openly said to everyone that he's willing to finish it, and he's willing to put it out if Shudder ponies up the money. Shudder has had 2 years to be like, you know what? Maybe we're not going to continue with the show, but you know what? Maybe we can do one last swan song for the fans. Maybe we can get a special put out, and we can take a gamble and put out the Marilyn Manson episode, maybe with a second story in the mix. Now, from what I've heard, if there was a second story, it was The Crate 2. But according to Nicotero, Warner Brothers owned the rights to The Crate. And they were having some loopholes and trying to get the rights for the Crate 2 script that they had written. What I think Shudder should have done for the fans is been like, you know what? Because we haven't paid any money for this franchise, let's pay Warner Brothers to license the Crate, and we'll make a Crate live action segment or an animated segment sequel to put with the Marilyn Manson episode and make that as a special of sorts to have a true send-off to the franchise on Shudder. But no, they didn't do that. They didn't even pick the Marilyn Manson one by itself to put as a bonus feature on the box set. No, none of that. After 2 years of waiting, we're just getting shoved more product in our face of unsold Blu-ray discs. Fuck you, Shudder. This is the thing, man. For Creepshow's sake, I hope and pray that Taurus Entertainment and Greg Nicotero and all those people, if you want Creepshow to continue, please, for the love of God, try to go to Warner Brothers and New Line or go to Blumhouse. I think Blumhouse would be a perfect studio for Creepshow because I can see that they would take a gamble on it. If you don't believe me, they're taking a gamble on a lot of Joe Hill stuff from what I've gathered. And Joe Hill loves Creepshow. And I guarantee you, if they went to Joe Hill and said, hey, Joe, pitch pitched to Mr. Blum that we need Creepshow movies again, I guarantee you Jason Blum would be like, all right, I'm going to buy the rights and we're going to make Creepshow movies. That's probably the best bet for the franchise. But if Warner Brothers and New Line want to pick up the rights again and go back to, I guess, the world building they were doing with that original movie, and maybe try to market a Creepshow remake of sorts, but with just brand new stories, I would be down with that too, like a full-on reboot, or maybe if they want to keep it already with the other films in tandem, they can call it Creepshow 4. I don't care. But this is where I'm at right now, after hearing the news, is that I don't know if we're going to have any more content for a little while after it. Because, like, we're supposed to get these Mego figures that I highly doubt we're going to get now. Even though the cards have been advertised and all of that, I just don't see people being hyped about getting these if there's no show to help sell it. You know what I mean? So who knows if we're going to get those? Who knows where we're going to get this video game? I highly doubt we'll ever see the light of day of this video game. And I want to be shocked if that's the next thing openly canceled by Dread XP in partnership with Shudder, which pisses me off even more. And I want to be shocked if the comics go away after this next volume, which is volume 4, after it releases this year and the beginning of next year, if that goes away too. Which, it sucks, but I think that as of now, that this is just the reality. Like, I'm a massive lifelong Creepshow fan. I got so much Creepshow merch over here. I got tons of Creepshow stuff over here that I just can't display. It's in a glass display cabinet that's off camera. I love this franchise. I love what it represents. Some people might not like Creepshow. Some people might not think that it's the greatest thing ever. Maybe as a show in particular, that's totally fine and dandy. But live action Creepshow has been keeping anthology alive in the modern era and throwing it away when you have the people that are passionate about it that still want to make it not being allowed to make it because you're not giving the right treatment and the right faith into it. Just pisses me off to no end. If Shudder doesn't believe in this franchise, let another studio believe in it. I don't think anybody would be upset if Warner Brothers acquired the rights again, or if Jason Blum bought the rights for it with Blumhouse. Any home is better than what Shudder's been doing. And you know what, Shudder? You can put out your straight to DVD, straight to streaming movies. You can have some hits. You can have some successes. You can put all your eggs in one basket and go to all these independent filmmakers and these low budget labels and try to acquire the rights for distribution of these movies so you can sell them at Walmart for $10 a DVD. I don't give a shit. But I think as of now, as a customer to Shudder, you have given me no reason to re-download your app. You have given me no reason to even want to think about resubscribing to you. And as a matter of fact, you have given me no reason to want to support you on physical media sales either. Maybe if you're like in a Dollar Tree, if that ever comes back, or when you're in a $5 bin at Walmart, I might entertain you. But as of now, just because of this like hoopla bullshit that you've done with the Creepshow IP, I might just like soft boycott your shit. Even though I have a lot of Shudder movies in my collection. As a matter of fact, there's a movie released by y'all I really want to talk about on a review because I love the movie. But I feel conflicted now in doing so just because of what you did to this franchise. The franchise I care the most about. So it puts me in a pickle, a rock and a hard place. I guess I'll support the movies that I think I really do love from y'all. But other than that, I'm not taking flyers on your shit no more. I'm just not. Y'all can continue to do what you're doing. Cool. By all means, make a splash. Keep making your VHS, low budget, found footage anthology movies a year. People eat that shit up apparently. You got VHS Halloween coming out this year. I'm assuming that you're probably going to get a huge influx of resubs and then unsubs at the end of October for that film. Good luck to y'all. I'm not going to be one of those people. When VHS Halloween comes out on physical, I probably won't buy that either. But if somebody wants to put it out online for free, I'll probably watch it there. You know what I'm saying? This is where it's come to for me. Just because, Shudder, at the end of the day, I just don't feel like gives an actual shit about Creepshow fans. And I think they only picked up the IP because of brand recognition for one, and because they can sell the likeness to the creep and they can make marketing and merch out of it, which they were doing in like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden that fell through and they stopped, I guess because they cut back the budget on the Creepshow spending here. It's bullshit. I don't like what they did to this show, and I think the quality unfortunately had to suffer because after the splash season 1 made, and after it basically broke a lot of records for them, what did they do for season 2? They lowered the budget. They told them that they can't make as much adaptations because it costs too much, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with season 3, same thing with season 4. And you know what? I tip my hat to the people behind those seasons because they had a lot of shoes to fill, and they had to go, I guess, pen to paper and try to put as much heart as they could into the budget and the workarounds that they had. So I don't fault anybody, writers, actors, effects, creature artists, anybody associated with that show and those seasons for how it turned out. I blame Shudder. And the fact that they've treated this franchise so poorly just shows me that it was basically doomed from the beginning. And I kind of wish that Shudder was not the home for this show. Any place, in hindsight, probably would have been better. I wouldn't say Netflix or anything, because I think if this was on Netflix, it would have been like a 2-season show, and then they would have dropped it because, Netflix is Netflix. But I'm thankful at least we got 4 seasons of this show. Who knows? Maybe it might come back at a certain point. Maybe another network or maybe another streaming platform would want to take a chance on the IP. Or maybe they might look to something like Tales from the Dark Side again, and they might try to make that a show, which is essentially already just the spiritual successor of Creepshow anyway. So, yeah, we'll play it by ear, but as of now, at least for the next few years, I want to say it's going to be looking grim for us Creepshow fans. I'm really upset. I don't blame you all if you're out there watching, if you're also upset. Thanks for listening to me ranting about this. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. But like I said, I do have the optimism that this franchise isn't completely dead and that it could go somewhere if people do believe in it. But I would only want it to continue if people did and took a legitimate chance on it. So until we get word of that, I guess we're here. And yeah, nothing else to say. Let me know down in the comment section if you heard about this news. What's your thoughts on the Creepshow television series being canceled over at Shudder? Until next time, take care.